Alright, so One Piece chapter 1167. I have so many thoughts. I love this. Because we start off with Big News Morgan, who's probably not named that yet. This might be early in his career, doesn't matter. He's interviewing people about pirates and fishermen and everything who's been attacked. And he mentions the Florian Triangle. So this is before Thriller Bark kind of thing. So, and even then it's like, hey, there was maybe a monster in there, mythology, all that fun stuff. And it's kind of hinted at that Harald could be the one who is attacking people, but it might not be, and I like that idea. So it's a setup for Harald being like the guard dog of the military here, their slave, doing whatever they say. And again, I really want to know more about the Florian Triangle. Is there an actual monster? I want there to be a monster. And one of the people who was telling a story about a giant man, they didn't know what it was a monster that attacked him, was not in the Florian Triangle, so it could be two things stalking the ocean. I want to know. But we see Harald basically acting as a warlord, possibly before the warlord system existed, or maybe outside the warlord system. I did not look up the timeline of when the warlords came to be. And him being just so happy that, like, he's thrilled. He's grinning like a child when they give him a new tattoo, because he sees this as a way to bring peace to his people, to atone for the 1,000 years of giant history of violence, and make amends with the world government, the evilest organization that ever lived, and he should know this by now. But he's just so optimistic. He's like, this is how unity is how we get to peace. And he's willing to overlook everything that happened, the death of his friend. He's sunk so much into this plan, he can't turn back now. And they give him this tattoo, something about deep, a shallow sea contract. So he gets a tattoo, and Saturn's just like, that's correct. Consider yourself the right hand of the God's Knight. So apprentice, protector, on the path to becoming a God's Knight. And Harold's just like, that's a great honor. And we learned there are 3 levels of contracts. The shallow sea contract is a more minor pact. And just hypothetically, if this is a pact with Eam, and Eam, just assume, like, it's a shallow sea contract, a sea contract. Could this be finally giving us the devil fruit of the sea? And Eam has it, maybe. Would that mean that the mist that Harald came out of to attack these pirate boats on Eam's orders, or the world government's orders, was created by said contract, a power that was given to Harald through this mark? Maybe, who knows? So the shallow sea contract is a more minor pact. The deep sea and deep sea contracts are reserved for those who are bound fully to the true God. Only 13 individuals in the entire world receive that privilege. So there are 3 different types of contract. Is this related to the Mark of the Abyss thing that they travel through? Most likely. It's called the Deep Sea Contract. Am I not supposed to believe that this is related to the Sea Devil Fruit? I want a Sea Devil Fruit. I want him controlling of the sea, or someone controlling of the sea, and a curse being placed upon it that makes it so, hey, this is my power. This is related to my power. No one else can touch it, and that's why Devil Fruit powers drain and die when they are in contact with the sea. Or is it that when they come in contact with the sea, their energy, their power, their life force gets transferred to Eam? Is that how he's staying alive? Is that where, like, the immortality comes from, if it wasn't from the immortality devil fruit? I don't know. Maybe just power. Who knows? I'm excited. We also see a little bit of a moment of all the soon-to-be Emperors of the Sea and them coming up in their journey. We got the Golden Lion guys, all well and good, but we have the Rocks Pirates partying. And then we see Buggy, who may or may not be doing the Nika pose. Am I not supposed to believe at this point that Buggy is going to be like the other half of Nika, and therefore related to Rocks, and therefore Blackbeard's brother? I'm just saying, you're making it very easy for me to turn this crazy tinfoil hat theory that I was only even humoring because it was funny to I genuinely believe it now. We then see Harald meeting with the God's Knights. He's agreeing to follow their orders, even though he's a giant, and they give him a long-range transponder snail to stay in contact with them if any orders were to appear, and he can go roam the surface world as he pleases, just like be at their beck and call. And that reminds me of upon reread, I did not notice this at first, transponder snail that Loki had. And then cut to King Neptune and Harald just drinking and having so much fun. First of all, I'm a little upset we didn't have a conversation with Loki and the Queen, because the Queen wants independence, wants to unity for her people, wants to go to the surface world. integrate in with the world government as well. Like, she had the same ideas and wanting to be a part of the surface world as Harald does, and we don't have a conversation with them. We just have the two kings drinking. I'm a little upset about that, but not the point, because then we have King Neptune saying, hey, how about we engage our children? I'm about to have a daughter. She'll be born in a couple of years, hopefully, and she's gonna be the mermaid princess and power untold. And Harold said, oh, if she takes after you, and they joke, and now they're possibly going to engage Loki and Shirahoshi, Princess Crybaby, and I love that idea so much. Now, I don't know if something fell through because he's been engaged to, was it Lola, before, and there was that was with the Pack of Big Mom. I don't know, shipping is not a thing I do, but I'm fine with him and Shirahoshi being together, getting engaged, but I'm more interested if they had contact all these years, because if the long-range transponder snail could be used to talk to Fishman Island, then Loki could have kept in contact with Shirahoshi all these years. Maybe when she was trapped in her tower, confiding in him after the events of Marijwa. It's so good for them to be in contact. It makes so much sense, because I need the Poseidon and Shirahoshi brought back into the story somehow, and this would be a really good way to do it. So I'm very excited for that. Next, we see them forming they have the library on Elbath, and Saul, they ask him to open up the school. Very sweet, wholesome, love that. Cut to Marijwa as Fisher Tiger is running through there. Yeah, my slaves are running away, the cells are broken, and then I'm assuming this is Fisher Tiger, is running through the streets. I had thought the story, I did not relook at it. I thought the story was that Fisher Tiger scaled the red line and then broke out all the slaves, but he was already a slave that was there, escaped maybe by coincidence, got away, and then released more and ran, and the story grew and became more exaggerated, more heroic, more grand. And I think that's awesome, if that is what happened. I'm not reading back right now to figure out if I'm wrong about the story. But what's important is he then comes across a figure in the shadows who may or may not be Shanks. We only see one of his eyes, and yeah, I think it's the eye that covers the one with the scar. And he breaks his bond, his chains, and says, I'll leave the armory unlocked for you. And that's what led to him being able to gather more of the slaves, rescue more people, escape. We see Boa and her sisters running free and getting away, and it's absolutely wonderful. Now, here's the thing. We see Shanks and Shamrock together. It explains, this was my other son, Shamrock's younger brother. How they know which one was older, I do not know. He's been lost to us for X number of years, living in the filth of the surface world. Now he's ascended, and he will be in the same position as you, Harald, as a recruit to become a God's Knight. And they're dressed the same, and it's all wonderful. And I'm just wondering, One Piece loves the idea of brothers, either by blood or not, by choice and all that fun stuff. Is Oda going to do a two brothers on opposite side of the wars, vastly different ideologies, and just hatred and stuff like that? Or is he going to do a kind of switcheroo where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to side with my brother, and have Shamrock, who's set up to be a villain, end up teaming up with Shanks, and this is the long game. Shanks was on the surface world, he lived his life, he came back to Marijwa, told his brother everything good about the world, all the deceits of the world government, and either the mind control and propaganda of the world government is too strong and Shamrock stays evil, or he sides with his brother. Maybe they switch places for a time and go out onto the land to view the people in a calmer way. Who knows? I doubt he switched. I highly doubt it. I feel like we're just going to have two brothers on opposite sides of the war and good and evil. But Oda likes brothers. I feel like they could be friends. It's interesting. So in that case, a reveal could be that Shamrock was the one to help Fisher Tiger and the slaves escape. Who knows? I'm going with no, but it's a thought. Oh, God. Before I read this chapter, how I learned this chapter was out is I was flicking through TikTok and someone said, the man with the eye patch has been revealed. And I turned off immediately, because how dare you? Give me a spoiler warning at least. But I'm upset because you lied to me. Because Shanks wearing a bandage over his eye, I'm not counting that as an eye patch. Is anyone counting that as the man with the eye patch? I'm going no, because that's just clearly that he was attacked by Blackbeard recently, got those scars, and now is on Marijois. Now I'm also thinking is that Blackbeard might have told him something that led him to want to go undercover in Marijois. I refuse to believe Shanks is evil at this point. I'm past my Shanks is evil theory. I'm upset about that, quite honestly, because you told me the man with the eye patch was here, and this is not an eye patch. You can tell me if you think this is the eye patch. I'm going no. But yeah, I do like the idea of Blackbeard saying or doing something that led to Shanks deciding to go back to Marijois. But then the ending happens, and we get the power of love and family and friendship as the Harunan's mother, Ida? Yep, Ida. So she is sick in bed, unknown illness. She doesn't want to bother Harald with it, and they're all trying to take care of her, and Loki shows up saying, yo, woman, open up the tavern, I'm hungry, cook this up. And they're arguing back and forth how unconsiderate is Loki, she's sick, we need to get her a doctor, what's the point of having these relationships with outside countries if we're not going to use them. Cut to Loki in his birth mother's home village, one of her relatives being like, we don't want that outsider anywhere close to the throne because Harald's been petitioning the elders to let him marry Ida officially all these years. So we poisoned her and she's going to die, and you should be happy about that, Loki. Loki grabs this man by the throat, trashes the village, and screams at him that his mother was evil, that she hated him, that she threw him into the land of the dead, and that Ida was the one who showed him kindness, that wormed her way into his life and cared for him all his childhood into adulthood, all that persistence, all the times he pushed her away and she never gave up. She was the only mother that he knew, and it's beautiful. It's glorious. We love it. And Ida is going to die from this poison, potentially, and I'm upset about it because now Loki is losing his true mother because this is One Piece and we can't have nice things. I love that ending. I love that ending. I love so many things. I love the fact that we have Buggy doing the Nika pose. I love Harald's commitment and belief that this is the good thing to do despite everything. He's gone this far. He's already come this far. He must continue down this path. I really wish we had him talking with the queen in Fishman Island. Oh, I keep saying Orihime, and that's wrong. Otahima? Sorry. I want to know more about Shanks. I'm so excited. Oh, everything with Loki. That's all I got. I will talk to you later. Bye.